Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Husband,
Wife!
do you know what we're doing today?
Well, technically it's Sunday, but we're actually doing our
Q&A Saturday.
That's
but
right.
it's on Sunday.
Also right. So, what are we Qing and Aing today?
We had several minor questions from chapters 41 through 45 of Ezekiel.
Okay.
So I just kind of went through and nabbed what I could find.
All right. So as you guys can tell, we're running a little late this week with all of our podcasty crap. And so we're not going to be doing a book club this week, and we do apologize. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that contributed to it, but essentially we're falling behind and we didn't have time to do it. So we apologize. Moving forward, we're going to try to do better as always and just keep doing what we do. Mm-hmm. But right now, let's go ahead and hop into our Q&A.
Okie dokie. All right, we are hopping into our Q&A covering Ezekiel chapters 41 through 45.
All right.
And my first little point is less a Q or an A and more just something that I read that I thought was a really interesting observation.
Sure.
You know how in chapter 41 he starts describing the size and width and height of the rooms
fucking
and the
blueprints
walls
of the temple.
Yeah,
for
all
sure.
the walls, right?
Yeah.
The massiveness of the walls is remarkable in that both inside and outside walls are thicker than the width of the rooms themselves.
No shit.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So apparently the thought was to contain a god, right? Mm-hmm. To contain this god, to keep him happy and separated from the normal people.
Again. Yeah.
You got to create these really fucking thick walls.
Yeah. Well, and also it was pointed out that the walls themselves, because I mean, they went into great length talking about the inner walls, the outer walls, all the walls, right?
Right.
They were not built to withstand any kind of physical attack. They were all to keep everything inside.
Okay.
Like to separate them from the dirties outside.
Right.
Like everything inside here stays here. It's all very clean and holy, and everything is shiny and good. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, just like you said, it was to keep that God there. It was also to keep the people who were holy, keep them boxed up.
Sure, but that was specifically said at some point that God was killing people or, whatever. Part of his problem was that he was too close, like he wanted to be separate from them, right? Mm-hmm. And he was mad at his neighbors because he could hear them and he could see them. And it's like, okay, so we have to find a way to box you up, man.
Right? Yeah, that's interesting.
Right.
That would actually make a really good story.
Yeah.
So, moving on to chapter 42, verses 16 through 19, I'm going to read real quick.
Okay.
He measured the east side with the measuring rod. It was 500 cubits. He measured the north side. It was 500 cubits by the measuring rod. He measured the south side. It was 500 cubits by the measuring rod. Then he turned to the west side and measured. It was 500 cubits by the measuring rod. So other translations use rods instead of cubits as the measurement.
Okay.
And even though I got this information originally from Christian apologists, the more I looked into it, the more that actually I think the way the Hebrew was originally written, from all of the research I could find, I think rods was supposed to be the intended measurement instead of cubits.
Okay.
And I'm going to get into that a little bit because the unit of measure, it's not that we had a question about it, but we did question the size. And I'm going to get into all that here shortly. Okay?
Well, and I would imagine if you are actually building something in ancient times, right? Mm-hmm. A cubit is a handy off, just like it's in you have it with you at all times, right?
Sure.
You have your fucking arm.
It's your hand and
right?
your arm.
So that's an easy way to measure stuff on the fly. Mm-hmm. But it's not a standardized measurement.
Sure.
So like a measuring rod would be a much more standardized way to measure things, and that would make a lot more sense if you're actually building a project.
Exactly. And that was one of the reasons pointed out.
Sure.
So I hate to be with apologists on anything, but they might have the right of it on this one.
Well, and I would imagine, so like, we talked about this when we were talking about Noah's Ark and other times too, but my understanding of where the term cubit came from the story of Noah's Ark, right?
Okay.
So it's possible in my mind that maybe translations later on, or translations in general, maybe understood, hey, people understand what a cubit is more readily than they do what a measuring rod is. But if you're not in architecture in ancient times, who the fuck knows what a measuring rod is, right?
This stick, we're just always going to call it a fucking cubit.
Right. So by throwing some cubits in there, it makes it more relatable maybe to the common person.
Exactly.
And not today necessarily, but even today we know cubit, a lot of us, from biblical accounts of the Bible build or the ark building, right?
Yep.
So it makes it more relatable to the average person, possibly, instead of talking about architectural tools that they used in the times.
Exactly. Yeah. Who could know?
Right.
But
I'm just
it does track.
That's just all. Something I was thinking off the top of my head.
Yep. So since they use rods instead of cubits, this would be an extremely large area.
Okay.
Much larger than the present Temple Mount. Okay.
All right.
Adherents to the use of rods understand this to reflect the transformed geography of Jerusalem and the land of Israel in the millennial age.
I am going to say this real quick too, because it sounds to me like maybe part of the apologist reasoning for saying that it was rods instead of cubits is to make this more grandiose than it actually was. Mm-hmm. And the other side,
and more impossible.
Right. The other side of this is that it quite possibly could have been him saying cubits, because Ezekiel is a prophet, not a fucking architect.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So I mean, that's the other side of this too. I didn't want to not say that. I can understand how maybe measuring rods were more accurate in the real. It could
go either way.
Right.
Honestly, it is interesting that if they use the rods. Let me get into this, okay?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
It's so much bigger.
Yeah.
So much bigger. It's fucking ridiculous.
Okay.
So it does render it next to impossible logistically by human terms.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
The wall would form a square of about 3,062,500 square yards.
Oh, Jesus.
A space almost 1 square mile, which is about 2.56 square kilometers.
Yeah, fuck that project.
And would encompass 633 acres.
Holy shit.
Right? So I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah.
Or,
no, I'm thinking not.
Yeah. So the entire area was obviously way too large for Mount Moriah.
We're assuming that they were meaning rods.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about here.
Right.
That I just described using rods.
Sure.
Obviously way too large for Mount Moriah, where Solomon's and Zerubbabel's temples stood. Okay.
So that, just my opinion here also, that kind of takes away from the idea that it would be rods as opposed to cubits, because that's too much.
Yeah, so. Exactly. An area of this magnitude would be too large and not fit the topography. So the scheme would require a great change in the topography of the land, which apologists believe will occur as indicated in the Book of Zechariah, which we have not read yet. But apparently Zechariah talks about the changing topography of the land.
Okay.
So
whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, is that a book that exists, that we got to read that book? Is that in the Old Testament?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to read that. I think the next one we have to read is Daniel, if I'm not mistaken. But Zechariah is one of the ones coming up.
Okay.
And he's a prophet, but I don't know anything about him or what he prophesizes. This is the most I've ever heard about him right now.
Got it.
Okay. Zechariah and other prophets indicate that the whole Palestinian topography will undergo geographical modifications at the beginning of the millennium.
Okay.
Which millennium?
Right, yeah. There's been a couple that have passed since the Bible.
Like, so since this is, I would say 2024, we're like well into like this millennium, right?
Right.
So nobody alive today is going to see it.
But that's interesting, though. If they said that in the Old Testament around the new millennium, this was supposed to happen, right? So that they would be referring to Jesus' time, right?
The 0 year,
which would have made sense as to why there was this big hubbub about coming up with a fucking prophet who is the Son of God and all this other crap. So it makes sense that they were trying to figure out who's the Son of God, what's the prophet's name.
They were trying to fulfill the prophets of the prophecies of the Old Testament.
Right.
In the time of Jesus.
Yeah.
So,
but the application of it is a little lacking, because if we're assuming that's when this was happening, the temple didn't happen. Right. And moreover, the whole way that the New Testament is written negates a lot of the need for this temple at all beyond Jesus. So it kind of debunks the whole thing.
Yeah, it really just does.
But anyway, whatever.
Yeah, interesting. So I had to bring that up because it's not just a matter of the measurement being off.
Sure.
The measurement being off actually changes our understanding of the project.
Okay.
And what to expect as to whether or not that has been fulfilled or will be fulfilled.
Sure.
So, if they used rods, I'm going to say absolutely fucking not.
Yeah, no.
Ever.
No.
So, moving on to chapter 43.
Yep.
Okay. Verse 2 says, "And I saw the glory of the God of Israel coming from the east. His voice was like the roar of rushing waters, and the land was radiant with his glory." So I've heard the term glory to God and glory of God a lot. Like when I would like go with various people to churches. Yeah. And, you always hear like Karens, older middle-aged women, saying glory be and glory to God.
Right.
Like, clutching their pearls.
Definitely a thing.
Yeah. And so I was like, hang on, I'm curious about this term. Like, what can I find about it? So the term glory of God is used to describe the manifestation of God's presence as perceived by humans according to the Abrahamic religions. So it's like him physically. Right. That's what the glory is. Okay. It is the visible manifestation of his attributes and his character, the radiant outshining of his presence, if you will.
Sure.
It's the visible, tangible God.
Right. The
Shekinah is what it's called in Hebrew. Okay. Which I believe we've covered that term before.
Yeah, I definitely am familiar with that term. Well, I'm familiar that it exists. I guess I wouldn't have known what it was if you would have just said it outright. But yeah.
Often the actual tangible glory of God is described as a cloud. Like, think back to Exodus.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That was, the glory of God was a cloud.
Yep.
And Moses is told that no human being can see the glory of Yahweh and survive. And then, but here we are now, and the prophet Ezekiel writes of viewing God in a vision.
To be fair, it's in a vision.
It is in a vision.
Yeah.
Yep.
But even Moses saw God's backside.
He did.
So.
He saw God's backside and Ezekiel saw his nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Right.
Yeah. Moving on to verse 6. While the man was standing beside me, I heard someone speaking to me from inside the temple.
The man being the golden man who was probably the angel, an angel of the Lord, the angel of the Lord. Whatever.
Maybe. I wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Right.
This is not the first place he's mentioned. I just, as I was going through stuff, I was like, oh, yeah, I had a question about that dude.
Yeah.
So that's where I nabbed it from. But he's been mentioned throughout Ezekiel.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So I just want to put it out there that this chapter 43 is not the first place.
Got it. So maybe it's just Ezekiel's drug dealer.
Could be. Here's the thing, though. Our translation uses the word gold.
Yeah.
Okay. But no other translation uses that.
Really?
We've got bronze. We've got brass. We've got radiant. We've got made of white metal.
Okay.
And shiny.
Those are very different accounts.
Yes.
Okay.
So... because I was trying to just do your basic Google search, who the fuck is the gold man in Ezekiel? Right. And I couldn't get it to come up. And so the more I was trying to play around with it, the more I kept seeing this bronze. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And then I realized, oh shit, it's the same dude.
Right.
So,
okay.
Most translations use bronze, but there was one I saw use brass.
Interesting.
And then, radiant and shiny and white metal are the other one here and there.
Right,
yeah. So this dude, this radiant dude, has been Ezekiel's tour guide through the temple, and this is indicated by his radiant appearance, which we read as gold, so whatever.
I am the god, or the ghost of God's assholishness.
Right, exactly. Now, there is a question. There's a lot of arguments amongst biblical scholars, biblical scholars.
Yes.
As to who the fuck this dude is.
Okay.
Some regard him as the angel of the Lord, like I said. Right.
Yeah.
At the very least, he is very likely an angelic being, given that people are not gold or brass or bronze.
Right.
Or made of metal.
Yeah.
Now, others suggest he is a temporary manifestation of God, which we've learned the word theophany before. Mm-hmm. And so that's what that would be. Basically God on earth, Jesus is a theophany.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even others say that this is a prophetic glimpse of Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, Jesus got better things to do than fucking measure a building.
Yeah.
He was about peace, not architecture. Although he was a fucking builder, wasn't he?
He was.
Maybe I'm wrong.
But the interesting thing to me there's other prophecies that we've already read that describe the coming person who people attribute to Jesus as an ugly son of a bitch, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't remember that? I think it was in Jeremiah or Isaiah. I can't remember which one it was.
I don't remember that.
They were saying that he was going to have he was going to be your everyman, and that you wouldn't notice him even, and he would be the person that comes to power.
Oh, is that why Christians are so excited about Trump? Because he ugly?
Today might not be the correct day to reference that, but I'm just saying.
I'm sorry he was shot, but he's still an asshole.
I mean, he is, yeah.
Listen, I'm going to get off topic here, but listen. When I was in 5th and 6th grade, I had a teacher named Mrs. Squitieri.
Yeah.
She was a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
I was always in trouble in her class. Now I had her for both 5th grade, and then she personally requested me for 6th grade. Okay. Now, halfway through 6th grade, they brought in a long-term sub because she got cancer.
Got it.
And had to be, doing hospital-y things.
Yeah.
And everybody in class was so sad and blah, blah, blah. And I remember I'm in 6th grade looking around going, what the fuck? I'm sorry she's sick, but we don't love her. Yesterday, we hated her.
Right. Can't
we still hate her but be sad that she has cancer? Are you not allowed to hate somebody?
Right.
So I had a really hard time with that concept, and it hasn't gotten better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still not happy with Trump. I am sorry that he got shot. That sucks. I wish that he would have been more sympathetic when Nancy Pelosi's husband got banged over the side of the head with a fucking baseball bat or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, because violence isn't cool, dude.
Right.
Anyways. All right. So, okay. So Trump is Jesus. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this mention that we had, this is the last mention of the Radiant Man. Nothing more is said about him.
Got it.
He disappears mysteriously from view.
Okay.
It's like a side character. Nobody cares.
Yeah, well, I mean, right.
Right? Like, he just walked out.
I mean, it's not even a dude. It's a guy in Ezekiel's fucking vision. So.
Right. But I want to know, did he take his rod with him? Or is that fucker still lying around in this imaginary building?
Who knows? Who knows?
I do want to say one more thing that I did not write down, but do you remember when Ezekiel was like, and then I heard his voice and it was like the sound of many waters?
That in...
He said a rushing waterfall, but most other translations say many waters.
Okay.
That's where Madeleine L'Engle got the title of her book, Many Waters.
Got it.
Which is part of the
Swiftly Tilting Planet.
Swiftly Tilting Planet and
Wrinkle in Time.
Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah,
that whole series.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where that title comes from.
Yep.
So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So Goldman, Trump. Got it. So moving on to the next verse, or not the next verse, but the next one I'm going to cover.
Right.
Verse 24. You are to offer them before the Lord, and the priests are to sprinkle salt on them and sacrifice them as a burnt offering to the Lord.
Yeah, and I was commenting at the time that it was odd that they were using salt, I thought, but...
Yeah, yes and no. Like, we did a whole extra episode about salt one time, remember? Like, salting your babies.
Yeah.
And we were like, what? You gotta salt your baby before you eat it,
That's
right?
True. Yeah. So I guess salt was pretty prevalent.
Yeah, in addition to seasoning, salt is also a well-known agent in the preservation of food and a means of purification.
Right.
Because it can't be broken down further, so it is already in its finest form.
I guess my part that I was railing against is that because it wasn't mentioned in the earlier sacrifices that I could recall, and maybe I'm wrong.
No, I didn't seem to recall it either, and I could be wrong too.
These are not things that we're preparing for food other than for the priests, and at that... It's technically for God, so if it wasn't mentioned initially as part of the process, it just feels like we've moved on beyond believing in God, where it's just a sacrifice for God, to now this is food prep for the fucking priest. That was my only comment on it, really.
No, and I get that. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it because salt had been around for a while at that point.
And they were probably doing it initially even.
But I don't recall them talking about it like in Leviticus.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was part of the process.
Right.
Where it was kind of mentioned
as part
of the process. They talked
about putting blood on certain sides and certain corners of the tent. Like, that was a big deal. Yeah. But I don't recall them using salt.
I remember olive oil. Like, there was olive oil that was used and stuff like that. But I do not remember salt.
Yep. So now, the prophet Elisha, I don't know if you recall him.
I do.
But he employed salt to heal a spring and remove impurities found in the water in 2 Kings.
Okay.
I don't even remember that happening.
I don't either.
So, apparently, we forgot to pay attention one chapter.
Well, there's a lot in this fucking Bible, so...
There's a lot. Like, I would fail a test if this was an actual history book.
Right.
There's just too much info. It's too dense and not put together well enough for me to give a shit.
Right.
So there's that.
Yep.
So Ezekiel's reference to the practice of rubbing a newborn baby with salt was likely to prevent infection. And we talked about that whole thing and how it's very bad. Don't do it because a baby can ingest too much salt and die from that. Like, and that was a thing for a while.
Right.
Especially with families that were like old world.
Yeah.
And it just...
Even in recent history.
In recent history, like today.
Right.
Yes. Advanced medicine is like having to talk to these families, these old world families, and be like, your culture's awesome, like, no disrespect, but let's not kill the baby.
Right.
Like, I just want your baby to live is all.
Yep.
So let's not salt it.
Right.
Yeah. Salt in the ancient world was very expensive because, it was difficult to get their hands on.
So, which goes to the fact that it was part of rituals, because it would be kind of a class type thing where, like, look what we can do. We have salt. That, and the people, would come together to pull their resources to be able to give this to their god. Right. So people used it very sparingly and with care. And that would indicate to me that maybe it wasn't just a seasoning for the meat. No, that's fair. Like, it was actually used in these rituals. Right. So, I don't know. When being used at an altar, salt depicted both purity and preservation because, like I said, it's already in its finest form. Right. So, that being white always means purity and goodness. And that's why you dress your little girl child in a white dress for a communion or a baptism or what the fuck maybe ever. We do that because we associate purity with salt, which is white. Yeah. You never know where that started, but that could be it. That probably is it. Right. So moving on to chapter 44. And this is like the final chapter. Because I was like, we got enough here. Yeah. I didn't even touch 45. Okay? Right. So, that funny. If you know, you know. Yeah. Okay. So verse 15 says, but the Levitical priests who are descendants of Zadok and who guarded my sanctuary when the Israelites went astray from me are to come near to minister before me. They are to stand before me to offer sacrifices of fat and blood, declares the sovereign Lord. So I'm assuming we're going to talk about the Zadoks? We're going to talk about Zadoks. Or whatever the hell they are. Yeah. I didn't go like real into it. Just a brief little who, why. Yeah, what? Right. So Zadok was faithful to David during the insurrection of Absalom. Right. Way back in 2 Samuel. Like, I had no recollection until, like, this one I remember now that you tell me. Right, yeah. Sure. I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, right. And he anointed Solomon as king after the abortive attempt of Adoniah to seize the throne. Okay. That was in 1 Kings. All right. Okay, so he's pretty important. Pretty important dude. Yeah. I don't remember his name, like, at all. I remember the events, but not his name. Yeah. And the reason that I don't remember his name is because it sounds so, like, comic booky, like, or it sounds like something that would be in Toy Story. Like Buzz Lightyear fights Zadok. Right. You know? Right, yeah. Or like the X-Men and they fight Zadok. Like, I don't know. I just got that cartoony name. Yeah. So, anyway, the family of Zadok claimed to be of the line of Eleazar, the third son of Aaron. And that's in 1 Chronicles. And you had mentioned that, I think, in one of the previous episodes we were talking about, too. So, I did. Yeah. I was like, if I recall correctly in my notes, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, the third son of Aaron, whereas the other priests claimed to be descendants of Ithamar, Aaron's youngest son. Okay. And the rest of the Levites performed a subordinate role. If you recall, they were like, y'all can sweep the fucking floors. Right. So the sons of Zadok were of the tribe of Levi, the Levites. Yeah. And were of the family of Aaron, the priests. And Zadok received the right to the priesthood in the days of Solomon, and that was in 1 Kings. Do you feel like some of these rights to family histories were given out with regard, like, I kind of feel like it's like, okay, we're going to make you extra important. We're going to say you're part of the line of Aaron's sons. Like they granted them as titles instead of lineages. Right. Now, I don't know that that's the case. Maybe they were really able to be traced back to the line of who could know? Because a lot of times they would like welcome somebody into their tribe or clan or whatever. Right. And be like, you are now the son. It reminds me of we just watched a really cool episode of Deep Space Nine. Yeah. And Worf was he's the son of Moog. Yeah. Right? Yeah, yeah. And he was welcomed into another family. Like this, I forget what that guy's name is. Okay. But
You're looking at me crazy.
No, I'm trying to remember what you're talking about.
Like, at the end, okay, like, remember Worf was like, God damn it, now I have to, like, go up against this captain that's my friend? And I did not want to...
Oh, he was captaining, or he was first officer on a ship where his friend was captaining the ship, and he wasn't doing a great job, or whatever.
The captain wasn't doing a great job, so Worf was like, God damn it, I'm going to have to, attack him to, bring the crew together.
Yeah.
And so he does, and he gets stabbed, but he lets himself get stabbed because that puts the captain back in power, and he looks great. And then, the crew comes together, and it's just a wonderful, very cool thing.
Yeah.
And then later on, the captain guy is like, how did you know I wouldn't kill you? And Worf is like, dude, I didn't. And then the captain is like, whoa, you're so fucking awesome. And then he's like, guess what? You're son of Moog, and that has not always been like cool.
Right.
So I'm gonna let the family of Moog fall under my tree, and you can put this little badge on your fucking sash that you wear all the time.
Yeah.
So like, he's not of that family, but he is now.
Yeah.
And that it gets written down that way.
Right.
And why would it, sorry, that was a long recitation, but it actually is relevant. When you welcome somebody into your family that's not DNA related.
And we have no way of knowing that that's the case with regard to this stuff, but it feels like it because we're so far past the whole Moses thing and Aaron thing that it would be very muddled at this point to find out who is actually related to whom. And,
just because they wrote it down doesn't make it legit.
Right. I think we should all just start saying, I'm the son of
I'm the son of Moog.
Yeah, right. There you go.
I mean, if I have to claim something, I'm totally going with fucking Klingons.
Right.
I mean, you would probably want to be like a Vulcan.
Would I?
Yeah. Maybe. Because you're stick in the mud.
Wow.
Well, I mean, like, in our Discord, you're always like the first to poop out.
Oh, Lordy. Everybody
knows it's true. They're like, there goes husband pooping on the party.
Yeah.
Some about having to work in the morning. Yeah. All right. So you're a Vulcan. I'm a Klingon.
Okay.
And we make a great couple.
That's right.
And anyway, they were not like the other Levites, not like the other girls.
Right.
I'm not like the other girls.
Sure.
I'm not like the other girls. They were not like the other Levites in general, being noted for their faithfulness, because apparently they held true to the old ways. And I'm like, but did they though? I'm
still reading faithfulness as gave more donations to whoever made them more important.
Right. Because listen to this. Guess what group Ezekiel belongs to?
The Zadokites.
Yes, he belongs to the group of Zadokite priests.
Yeah. That
Go figure.
Tracks, yeah.
That's literally my last sentence.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
so no wonder he's promoting them.
Yeah, he's like, we get everything. Yeah. I mean, they get everything good.
It's more politics. It's more bullshit. Yep. It's the same thing we've been dealing with for, since we've been in the prophet section. Mm-hmm. Prophecies are all about politics. That's all this is. It's
all about land grabs and power.
Exactly.
And who gets to fuck the most women.
Right. Basically. That's pretty much it.
I mean, prove me wrong, right?
Right. All right. Well, that was our Q&A for today.
It sure as fuck was.
Which means that I will be getting our weekly wrap-up together here because we're not doing a book club this week.
Correct.
So we'll also... And then we'll be back on Monday with...
Ezekiel chapter 46.
All right. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Hey, wife. I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep. We have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.